watching the Packers Report. I am your host, Joey Petersen, and on today's video, we're going to look at two brand new mock drafts, one of them coming from ESPN, Mel Kiper Jr., the other one coming from the NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah. We've looked at a couple of Mel Kiper mock drafts so far this offseason. Let's give you just a little bit of recap before we dive into his first. In the first one he picked Mike Green, edge rusher out of Marshall. Shows you how much that guy's stock has risen over the last month or so because he's probably going to be gone within the top 15 picks. And the second one, Azariah Thomas, cornerback out of Florida State University. And in this third one, you got to wait just a little bit longer to see who Mel Kiper Jr. has the Green Bay Packers taking because I got to shed some light on our NFC North sub-battle. It's just been a couple of haymakers over the last couple of days, and we're getting really, really close to passing Bears now yet again, only 3 subs behind. If you haven't subscribed yet, I cannot think of a better time to do it than today because 2 things you get. Daily Packers videos right here on the channel. You also get to be a part in us beating our Bears channel. So help us out. We run the North. Let's prove it right here at Chat Sports. Alrighty. The first pick from Mel Kiper Jr. is Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver out of the Ohio State University, former national champion. Let's hear what Mel Kiper had to say about Egbuka. Egbuka's game is really refined. He's a great route runner. He has good hands. He reads the defense well, and while Green Bay doesn't have much history of drafting wide receivers on day one, Javon Walker was the last one in 2002, this seems like a good year to break the streak. Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, and Romeo Doubs all have injury concerns, and I'm not sure any of them are true wide receiver ones even when healthy. Egbuka had 1,011 receiving yards last season, and he can make an immediate impact on this offense. Okay, let's recap some things. Number one, what have I been saying for the entirety of the offseason? I've been saying exactly what Mel Kiper Jr. just said right there, right? This team doesn't necessarily have a wide receiver one on the roster. Now, my concern with backing up a statement like that and then picking Emeka Egbuka is he was never wide receiver one in college. Not once. And I get it. He played with some pretty special wide receivers. Okay? Jackson Smith-Njigba. Marvin Harrison Jr. He just played this past year with Jeremiah Smith, who, if he was going out in the draft right now, I believe he'd be a first-round selection. Probably would get picked over Emeka Egbuka. But it's hard for me to believe that a guy who's never been a wide receiver one in his collegiate years can come right in and be a wide receiver one for the National Football League. Okay? Think he's going to be great. I just have a little bit of concerns. Grade the pick for me before I break it down just a little bit more. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. Tell me how Mel Kiper Jr. did in the comment section down below with your grade. Let's take a look at Emeka Egbuka's career as a Buckeye. This past year was the second best ever in terms of yards. Tied best in touchdowns with 10. He had 81 catches. That's a career high. But if you look at over the last 3 years, you know what? He's averaging just about, like 800 yards a season. Really, he's a picture of consistency. He took a little dip last year. That's also sharing receptions with Marvin Harrison Jr. And that's also just that entire team kind of took a little bit of a dip on offense, I could say. And really, over the last 3 years, like I said already, he's just been a picture of consistency. He's been incredibly steady for that offense. And I know that this Ohio State team is going to look a lot different without Emeka Egbuka in the roster because of what he's meant to that team. I am really interested, though, in how the draft went prior and after this selection. At pick 22, it has the San Diego Chargers taking Matthew Golden. And at pick 24, right after Green Bay selects, it has the Minnesota Vikings taking Jahdae Barron. I'll be honest with you, I would prefer Golden or Barron over Egbuka, okay? I just think that Matthew Golden is a far better wide receiver, has a far higher ceiling than Emeka Egbuka does. And I believe that Jahdae Barron, the pick right after Green Bay to Minnesota, perfectly fills the void in this team, which is cornerback. Maybe not yet, because as of right now, Jair Alexander is still on the roster. But I don't think he's going to be. We don't think he's going to be come April. Okay? Coming up, we got Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft, who the NFL Network analyst had the Green Bay Packers taking in his mock draft at pick number 23. But before I share that with you, I got to just ask you guys one more time to subscribe. Okay? Join us today. Join us right now. There's no time like the present. If you want daily Packers videos for the entire offseason, you got to do one thing for me. Join us and hit that sub button. Daniel Jeremiah has the Green Bay Packers taking Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback from the University of Kentucky. And I hate Kentucky, but boy, do I have high hopes for Maxwell Hairston. Here's what Jeremiah had to say about the cornerback. It's not clear if Jair Alexander has a future in Green Bay, so the Packers turn to the highly dynamic Hairston at cornerback. Well, Daniel, it is pretty clear because in my opinion and in many people's opinions, Jair's time in Green Bay is all but done. We talked about it just 2 days ago that he's on his way out. They're still trying to trade him, and they're either going to trade or release him. So what do you get in Maxwell Hairston? Well, you get a guy with long arms who can cover both in man and in zone, has great ball skills, really fluid hips. What I love about him is that high motor, okay? I don't think it's very often you see that in a cornerback, especially a guy who's as good as he is, and he's got exactly that. Now, he does have a couple of cons. He lacks in functional strength. He also sometimes can get a little grabby and doesn't have the best press technique. Oh, golly, I got to sneeze. But I still got a late round 1, early round 2 grade on Maxwell Hairston. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at the stats for a second. He only left 262 yards in 7 games played. He didn't play a full season, was dealing with a shoulder injury, but he didn't let up a single touchdown and allowed a quarterback rating of only 78.2. I don't mind this pick one bit at all, okay? I prefer, and I'll talk about it in a little bit more depth than just a little bit, but I think I prefer this one to Mel Kiper Jr.'s. I think Maxwell Hairston is going to be a star in this league. However, I can't pass the fact that the Chargers picked Teteroa McMillan at 22. Or should I say, Teteroa McMillan somehow fell to pick number 22 and into the awaiting hands of one Jim Harbaugh. If Teteroa McMillan is available in the early 20s or the late teens, I am doing whatever it takes to move up and to grab him. Okay? I think Teteroa McMillan is the best wide receiver in this class. Now, I don't know why I've seen mock drafts over the past couple of weeks, seeing him drop down into the 20s. I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, if you are Goody and you're sitting there with pick number 23 and Teteroa McMillan is still available when you get into the 20s, with the lack of wide receiver 1 talent you believe you have in this wide receiver room, I'm not thinking twice about it. I'm trading whatever it takes to trade up to get him. And I am making sure Teteroa McMillan is wearing green and he's wearing gold. Okay? Pick one of those two for me, though, in the 2 mock drafts. Is it Emeka Egbuka? Is it Maxwell Hairston? Which would you rather? If you'd rather Egbuka, give me your best Dolphin impression and comment EE. If it's Maxwell Hairston, go ahead and give me an MH in the comment section. I already said this earlier, but I prefer Hairston over Egbuka, okay? I believe that these are 2 massive needs on this team. I think edge rusher, cornerback, wide receiver are the 3 biggest. However, I don't think Egbuka is enough of an X factor to want to choose him over Hairston, okay? I believe that Maxwell Hairston will fill that Jair Alexander role perfectly. You need a long press man corner, and that's exactly what Maxwell Hairston excels in, okay? He is a guy who I believe can come into a system, can come to a team, can come to a city, and be a day 1 starter. Emeka Egbuka, I think he's going to have a very good NFL career, but that's the ceiling. I think very good, okay? And I believe Hairston's is a little bit higher. Make sure you guys do one thing for me before you head out of here. Hit that sub button. Join me because I'm talking Packers every single day right here on the Packers Report. For producer Jack, myself, y'all have a great day.